On problems 13 through 16, the directions tell us to find the angle measure of each quadrilateral. And so each quadrilateral is going to have 4 angles, of course, so you're going to have 4 separate answers on each one of these. All of these quadrilaterals are what we call inscribed quadrilaterals, since all 4 vertices are on the circle. So we learned that the opposite angles of an inscribed quadrilateral have to be supplementary to one another. So that means they have to add up to be 180. So when we look at number 13, I have 2 pairs of opposite angles, but I cannot use angle S and V as my opposite angle pair because I don't have any information about V. You cannot just say it's Y degrees because you don't know what Y is. And so you're going to have to use the opposite pair that you are given an expression for on both of them. And so these 2 opposite pairs, you don't set them equal to each other. They're supplementary, which means they add to get 180. So you're going to have 7y plus 11y equal to 180. You can combine your like terms and then divide by 18 to solve for y and get y equals 10. You're not done with your problem at that point. That's just the value of y. You have to find all 4 angles. So r is 7 times y, so 7 times 10 is 70 degrees. The measure of angle S is 8 times 10, which is 80, plus 8, which is 88 degrees. The measure of angle T is 11 times y, which is 11 times 10, which is 110 degrees. And the measure of angle V, you have 2 options on finding it. You can add the 3 that you know, the 70, the 110, and the 88 together, and subtract that from 360 to find that it is 92 degrees. Or, remember, opposite angles are supplementary. So you already know angle S is 88. You could just subtract 88 from 180 to get the 92 degrees. So these 2 have to add to 180. All 4 of these have to add to be 360. So that's just a double check you can do. So on number 14, I'm looking for the opposite angles that I know expressions for both of them. So I can't use B and D. I'm going to have to use A and C. So the 10x plus the 4x plus 12 have to add to get 180. I can combine my like terms and then undo addition using subtraction to get 14x equals 168. Divide both sides by 14 and get x equals 12. So now I can find the measure of each angle. Angle A is 10 times x. 10 times 12 is 120 degrees. The measure of angle B is 6 times x. 6 times 12 is 72. Plus 3 is 75. So the measure of angle B is 75 degrees. The measure of angle C is 4 times x. So 4 times 12 is 48. Plus 12 is 60, so the measure of angle C is 60 degrees. And again, we can find the measure of angle D 2 different ways. You can add the 3 you know and subtract from 360, or these opposite angles have to be supplementary. So angle B was 75. You could just subtract 75 from 180 to get 105 degrees for the measure of angle D, and then make sure all 4 angles add to be 360. Number 15, the opposite pair that I know are the J and the L. I can't use K and M because I don't know anything about M. So I'm going to do 2Z, and I always do a slash through my Z's so they don't look like 2's. 2Z plus 2 plus the Z minus 17 have to add together to get 180. So I can combine my like terms. I have 3Z, and then the 2 and the negative 17 make negative 15. Then add 15 to both sides to get 3Z equals 195, and then divide both sides by 3 to get Z equals 65. So now I can find my 4 angles. The measure of angle J, 2 times Z, so 2 times 65 is 130, plus 2 is 132 degrees. The measure of angle K is Z plus 25. 65 plus 25 is 90, so 90 degrees. The measure of angle L is Z minus 17. 65 minus 17 is 48, so 48 degrees. And then the measure of angle M, again, you can find two different ways. It's got to be supplementary with K, so if you subtract 90 from 180, that's 90 degrees. And again, you can double check that all four add to get 360. Just as a side note, since you know angle M and K are right angles, that means if I connected J to L, that would have to be a diameter of the circle, because that inscribed angle has to be half of its arc. So that would have to be a semicircle. On number 16, the opposite angles that we are given information on are M and P. So M is 4x plus 5. So together with P, the 3x plus 7, they have to add to get 180. So combining my like terms, I get 7x plus 12 equals 180. I can subtract 12 from both sides to get 7x equals 168, and dividing both sides by 7 gives me x equals 24. So now I can find the measure of each one of these angles. Angle M is 4 times x, so 4 times 24 is 96, plus 5 is 101 degrees. The measure of angle N is 4 times 24, which is 96, minus 10 is 86 degrees. The measure of angle P is 3 times 24, which is 72, plus 7 is 79 degrees. And again, the measure of angle Q, you could find two different ways, but it has to be supplementary to N. So if you subtract 86 from 180, you get 94 degrees. So all four of those have to add up to be 360.